welcome to the Founderville.vc podcast. This is a podcast where we like to talk to founders and just people in the startup community, entrepreneurs, really anybody that loves to support founders. My name's Shay Hauser. I'm here with my partner, Scott Millwood. And today we've got a good friend of the podcast, good friend of Founderville.vc, Mr. Britton Briley.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
What's up, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you taking some time to come out here.
Appreciate it. I'm honored.
No, it's great. You know, so many podcasts now are done over video.
Yeah.
The fact that all of us are like right here in Greenville.
In real life.
In real life.
Yeah.
It's
not Zoom or Google Meet.
No,
it's the connectivity.
Yes, it's kind of cool to actually be in person to do these things.
Yeah.
So again, thanks for taking the time. I know you're busy. In fact, I think you're probably the busiest man in marketing. Dude, outside of Elon Musk, I don't know if there's anybody that has more jobs than you, on a full-time basis, whether it's supporting a different hockey team or, of course, building Ghost Brands, which you've been building over the last 8 years, which we want to hear that story as well. But yeah, man, you're a busy dude.
Yeah, well, my wife will say the same thing.
Yeah.
How did all that come about?
We talk about for Ghost.
Yeah, for Ghost.
So basically, I've been in—
And what is Ghost now?
Well, yeah, so Ghost now is sort of like a full-service digital marketing, branding, advertising agency. So it can go anywhere from sports to QSRs to e-com to tech to VC to all these different customers that we have that sort of have people that need to fill in the holes but don't need full, someone in-house, if that makes sense. So Ghost sort of started back in 2018 when I left the let's say the corporate ladder. I was more let go from the corporate ladder. Being completely honest, I was let go because the position and need wasn't there anymore. And it's okay. What do I want to do? Well, I interviewed with a bunch of traditional marketing agencies, as I call them, as in WYFF, WSPA, Nexstar, Gray Media. A lot of these people they do marketing, quote unquote, but it's they do one outlet, one source. And I just realized I hated it. I didn't want to. I don't want to be in a suit, a tie, work on a book of business, and constantly just be working off commission. It just was not the life for me. Plus. Tattoos, t-shirt, jeans. If I can't walk in like this, you got me already at the door. Don't even worry. Don't even call me for follow-up. But I started an agency back in the day. From the whole, I realized a lot of agencies, they have package A, B, and C. You want A, B, or C, and they make the clients conform to them. They don't conform or they don't adapt to what a client needs. And so half the time clients were like, okay, I'm in this package for someone from other agency and it just doesn't fit all the bells and whistles. I have some fluff and buff that I really don't need. So we said, okay, what do you want? And did that reverse psychology side. But we realized there was a hole in the market and we sort of filled it immediately and then it sort of just grew from there. It was originally called Viking Solutions.
Viking Solutions. I love that.
Oh, his bloody helmet, man. It was awful. I mean, it was so against the grain that we grew for 6 months. And then people were like, I don't think I like this look or feel. Who do you have for your marketing? Viking Solutions. It just didn't hit.
A little too aggressive.
Way too aggressive. My truck was all blood red. It was just, God, it was just if you had a little mom and pop shop, you weren't calling us. I knew immediately.
Yeah,
exactly. Basically, we're
hide the women and children.
Yeah, we're ruthless on getting you results. That just got too much in your face. And so right before the pandemic, we rebranded to Ghost. I did a lot of split tests, asked a lot of my mentors about the name change, and cost a little bit to do a name change halfway through a company, but
absolutely.
5 steps back to take 13 forward.
Absolutely.
So that's sort of how it started.
So what's Ghost look like today in terms of just sort of size, scope, scale, people, things like that?
So we're about 47 clients in 13 states, 12 people on staff. Okay. That includes basically 9 full-time employees and a couple contractors here and there to fill in the holes. We have 2 offices, one that's a studio base and one that's actually our corporate office. Okay. And then, you're talking about sports teams. We have 5 sports teams on our docket. We have 3 e-com companies. We have, I think, 12 restaurants. We have some bigger, VC and tech companies like New Bowl Technologies down the street that do POS systems, hardware, software, deployment, fulfillment. So it ranges. It is full scale.
Dang, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I wish it was one niche, make it easier, but it's not.
And marketing is changing so much now. It's crazy just thinking about just the way AI, copyright, all these things, content management. This is an industry that is sea change occurring as we probably sit here today, right?
Yeah, definitely. I actually had a capstone class I did at UGA over the spring for a bunch of, kids are looking to get into marketing and advertising, the first thing I said is that, who used ChatGPT for this presentation? Like a lot of them raise their hand. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I appreciate that. It's a tool. Yeah. Did you change it for the authenticity of your voice, of your brand, of who you're talking to? Or did you just copy, paste, be done, task completed?
Right.
So I think with AI and how technology is moving, it's moving at a scale that sometimes is hard to keep up with on learning the algorithms, the blueprints, what's going on, how do I keep it relevant, and then how do you plug and play it into what your services are. Yeah. So I feel like there's a digital marketing agency that comes up every 3 to 6 months, but then it dies off every 3 to 6 months because they can't stick with it.
What's the key to that longevity? What keeps you going with those clients?
I think it's the authenticity of it. Yeah. I mean, between our photography, videography that's in-house, to executive copywriting in-house, to web development and app building in-house, like all that is done where I think the clients understand they can come meet us, speak with us, sit down, we can dive through it, brainstorm sessions, R&D, we can go through audits, instead of just saying, okay, here's your brand, copy, paste, and then we take the same thing and copy, paste it somewhere else. It has to have that feel, that look that I think that brands are missing a lot of the time. Like you think about Athens Rock Lobsters in Athens. We did a whole R&D about the city. Why is it named Rock Lobsters? Because the B-52s are from Rock Lobsters. So it's awesome. We did that. The city was wrapped around sort of art and music. So we said, well, let's take the music base. We went to REM, Widespread Panic. It was going to be called Class City Panic. Mm-hmm. But the community voted on Rock Lobsters. So we went the other direction. Listen. So that authenticity versus bring a team to town and saying, okay, we are the Vipers. You're like, why? Well, just because that's the name. It's like it doesn't really bring those building blocks that we think that brands need nowadays. So even though we have the tools of a lot of technology, I feel like the reason brands stick with us is because of the authenticity to it.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I mean, you've got 8 years at it, so you've been building for a while now.
Yeah, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and gray hairs. The hat hides it. So.
I can't hide the gray hairs.
You got a full on mane, man. I'm telling you.
It's the wet weather. My hair gets kind of freaking crazy, so I just whatever. Usually I pull it back.
I thought it was a perm.
Yeah. Perm. When's the man bun coming out?
Yeah, sometimes it's just the man bun's easier. It looks a little more professional, but I figured today I knew you'd be in a black t-shirt.
A black t-shirt.
I'm gonna let my hair down today.
Exactly. Let it down. Let it down. No, it's been a journey for sure. I mean, it hasn't come with the hills and valleys. I mean, as a sole proprietor, there's a lot on my shoulders, a lot on our team shoulders.
Oh, wow. So you built this thing yourself. I mean, obviously with your team, but you don't have a co-founder.
Nope, it's just me. Wow. So that's the struggle bus that we've talked about.
So let's talk about that. Yeah. Like I love to hear that story on the struggle bus. Like you lose your job.
Yep.
You're staring at the mirror and going, what am I going to do?
Yep.
And you had a few interviews.
Yep.
What inspired you to eventually just say, all right, I'm going to throw it in on myself?
I talked to my wife first. That was the first thing because I had to have her trust and understand what I was about to do. Because if you don't have the support system of your spouse or your family, they'll get tired of it within 12 months. And say, you know what? We're out. I can't do this. You're spending too much time away from the home. You're not spending it with us. So that's the first thing. Second thing was really just understanding where the market was in Greenville. Greenville's still growing. I mean, even though we talk about Greenville as this bigger city now, it's like I remember 10, 15 years ago, you didn't want to go down to the west side. Yeah. Where the baseball park is now, you didn't want to go down there. Like
there wasn't a whole lot there 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Or what they've done to renovate it. So looking at Greenville, looking at the agencies that would be our competition. But that jump in moment was I had a severance from my other company. I had a contract that I made sure they fulfilled. So I had a good 6 months that I was like, okay, I can just
get some runway,
turn and burn for a little bit. Don't have to worry about bills as much. But it was really connecting with basically, I say it this way. We did a psychology in Greenville, and it was okay. I don't want to go after the biggest companies because they're not going to look. They're small. I'm a small little guy. They're not going to trust me with their business. I don't want to go to the small guys. They're like nothing wrong with mom and pops, but they don't have the money to scale and grow. So we found the medium guys. We said, hey, listen, you want to be like this, but you don't want to be like that. So how can we be a sort of a filler, if that makes sense? So when we jumped all into it, especially myself, I worked in my third bedroom. I never had meetings in my house because that's the one thing my wife's like, do not bring people to our third bedroom. You're going to look very bad. I'm like, exactly. So I always wanted to go find coffee. I always said, I'll come to you. You don't come to me. I will come to you. So we first got into restaurants like Sully Steamers, City Range, did some Power Fitness Superstore. We were very niche down just to sort of like e-com and restaurants. And then after we sort of built that portfolio, people started seeing us in different places. So Hit Burger is one of our biggest case studies, one of our biggest success stories because he started in a food truck, just going to neighborhoods, going to HOAs, going to breweries. He finally scaled to his Malden location. Now he's in Anderson, about to go to Clemson, about to go to about 3 other cities as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Seeing that over the course of 5 years, and he's been our first guy. He's grandfathered into his pricing. Daniel, you better love it. Because he can scale and grow as much as he wants, and he still has that same pricing from back in 2018.
Oh, man, like, good for him.
Lucky you. I said, don't you ever leave and come back because it's about to go through the roof.
Right.
So those people that trusted us early on allowed us to scale and grow. And then business owners know business owners. So if I did a great job for – if it was Corey over at City Range, if it was obviously Robert Sullivan at Sully's, if it was Daniel Knowlton at Hipburger, they got us into other circles. I mean, just sort of grew and grew and grew to the point where I had to
just through word of mouth.
Word of mouth. It's all referral. Yeah, there's we're not advertising ourselves on billboards, direct mail, on social. We're just do a good job and then we'll grow in those circles.
I don't know. I saw a truck outside with Ghost all over.
Yeah,
I'll say this.
Truck's a different story.
I'll say one quick. I did get a 1-star review for how I was driving. So I will say, sorry if I speed, but I'm in a Raptor.
funny.
So what do you expect?
Yeah.
But no, we do minimal advertising for ourselves because we let our product stand by itself. Yeah. And then if we stand by it, clients refer us and refer us and refer us.
Sure.
Just like Athens. We've had 4 new clients in Georgia just from working with the Athens Rock Lodge.
No,
and we did nothing besides just do a good job for
be
Athens.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those initial clients, I mean, you talk about like City Range. I mean, so that was you. You were the sales guy.
Basically. Yeah. I was a sales guy. I was the social media guy. I was a part-time photographer and videographer.
Oh, no kidding.
Learn all the skills. I know how to code and build websites.
Yeah.
But again, nowadays it's a delegation. You have a team for that. But I had to do everything except for some contracts we use for different things. And I give them props because they sort of got us where we're at now. Yeah. Filling in holes, filling in hours, filling in projects to finally be able to hire full-time people and move into our new office.
Sure. That's awesome.
So scaling up, you know, you go from you got your hands on everything. Talk to us a little bit about those first few employees and adding the team and taking that gamble of like, all right, now I got to pay somebody to do this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, we went through a couple people, not going to lie. Because we had to not – and I hate to say this word, this sounds so bad, but I hate the word culture because every company uses it. Nothing wrong with it, but it's like – finding the right people to fit the mold of what Ghost is. We always say ghostify your mindset. I mean, take everything you know about marketing, advertising, PR, graphics, and throw it out the window. I want to teach you the new way of doing it, how we do it here, because our clients have different perspectives. But those first key employees were like, okay, I need someone to help manage clients because they have that. But half the time clients dealt with me, so they never wanted to deal with the project manager because they always dealt with the top dog and never wanted to deal with the second dog. Right. If that makes sense. Then finding social media managers that can handle the day-to-day tasks and the meticulous, tedious things. I'm like, man, to do all these social calendars, do all these planning, do all this photo, video, the captions, the hashtags, all that strategy. That's taking me 38 hours a week to do.
Jeez.
On top of your admin or ownership responsibilities.
Right.
And so I'd be working, 78, 82 hours average a week and just pumping through it all the time. So those first key people were amazing for us because they helped us grow, figure out our sort of processes because the hardest thing is you build a company and then processes come second. You do it yourself. So I had to sort of reverse engineer on, hey, do this. Like, how do I do it? I'm like, oh, crap.
Let me write it down. Yeah.
Let me teach you. So that first year we probably went through like 23 people. I'm not going to lie. Be completely honest.
No kidding.
It was a lot. Because some of them were like, okay, we're going to try you out part-time. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then I know no one's going to work like I'm going to work. So I expected a little bit more, and that was my immaturity on thinking on, hey, you need to work just as hard as I'm going to work. And they're like, no, I'm 9 to 5, man. At 5 o'clock, I'm out. I'm like, man, we got all these other things to do. I'll do it tomorrow at 9. And again, I had to retrain my brain on I need to be a leader and understand that and help push them, but also say respect on boundaries between work and life.
Right.
Yeah, went for that for about 2 years.
Well, I mean, listen, Scott and I always say it's making a mistake in the third, fourth, fifth hire. That is a big deal. That's 20, 40% of your workforce. It's totally different when it's at number 50 and you make a mistake. Those are the things that swallow as a founder and as an entrepreneur. That is the stuff that swallows your time and headspace is trying to lead the people, and let go of the stuff that you don't want to let go of. I mean, that's where I always struggle. It's like,
right. I mean,
I can do it better than you can, obviously.
Getting people on the bus in the right seat,
right,
is a old Jim Collins. If you get them on the bus in the right seat, doing the right thing, go a lot of places. But getting them off the bus is just as important. So talk to us a little bit about that. So you're cycling through these people.
Yeah, at the very beginning we were.
And you're making these choices on, whether they match your process, your culture, whether it goes to fight or not.
Yeah.
How do you make that call? When do you make that call?
At first, so what I first did was just what we have now, which is funny. We call it sounds bad, it says probation phase.
Yeah.
It's after basically 90 days.
Sure.
They're going to sit back down and reevaluate, no hard feelings if we want to continue or leave and go a different direction.
Right.
Because I also want to give them the tools over those course of 90 days to say, okay, this is your adolescence phase.
Yep.
You're learning, you're diving into it. I can't just say, come in, here's a computer, run. Because there are a lot of training aspects.
Yeah,
and
sure.
also I want to learn from my side. Hey, where can I be better as an owner, operator? Because I'm also in the trenches every day working with clients. So it's not like I'm on an island saying, hey, how's the report come and send it to me and hanging up. I get to see them every day. So I get to sort of learn that, but it's also hard to come to your boss and say, hey, this sucks.
Yeah.
I need you to change it. Because you feel that sort of that
Sure.
tension there.
Yep.
So at the very beginning, it was just, hey, you're not a good fit. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to find someone else. Or honestly, we found people that actually used Ghost as a platform to move out. So probably about one-fourth of those 23 people came in. Like a great example is a photographer named Brian Knox. Love him to death. Great photographer. He was at Habitat for Humanity. He worked for us for about 7 months. He said, Britton, I'm going to do my own photography business. I said, no worries. Thank you so much for working with us. I appreciate it. I need to find a replacement.
Yeah.
So you give me 30 days out. I'm going to find a new replacement. And can you try to teach them your ways a little bit? And then you set them up for success and you're heading out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even though I say there's a lot of turnover, it's like, okay, some people came in, they grew to a certain point. I'll start my own thing because I think we lit that spark inside of them and they dealt with so many clients and saw how much easy, if I say that honestly, how easy it is.
Right. Yeah.
How easy it is. But Brian Knox has taken off as a photographer that does a lot of, industrial stuff. He does a lot of stuff for nonprofits, a lot of gyms. And so he sort of used us as a base to jump, but also we were there to say, okay, hey, thank you for providing so much good content for us for 7 to 8 months. But we understand it's time for you to move up and move out.
Sure. Yeah.
So those are sort of how that sort of came to fruition. But nowadays, definitely that probation welcome phase for 90 days and then we'll reevaluate. But half the time right now, we've only gone through in 3 years, maybe 10 people now. So it's been getting better and better and better as we find people that sort of fit the mold or fit the vision or understand the vision of what
I feel like it's an industry where there is a lot of turnover and there's a lot of exactly what you're talking about, which is they get into it, they're doing social media for some agency, and then it's like, I think I've probably got enough clients I can sort of step on my own, or I can't help myself. I want to take this opportunity to step out.
Yeah, they learn skills, and that's great because client skills is different than just doing the task itself, but they sort of learn both of it because our social media managers talk to clients, meet, strategize. So it's like you're trying to build on that versus like, oh, here's your calendar, only talk to Brent and don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that connectivity so they can learn those client skills because clients are not always the easiest to work with.
Yeah.
So you've bootstrapped this business.
Yeah.
You decided, look, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm not taking outside capital in, and I'm not going to have a co-founder or anything. I mean, was that like a conscious decision, or did it started to build and you got momentum and it became obvious for you?
I think it's twofold. It's a double-edged sword in my opinion because yes, I would love to have someone that can share the burden, share the stress, share the financial burden that I know my wife knows of. So it's those things, but also it's like having someone to, not in a bad way, to report to talk to have conflict with if they don't see the vision the same way.
Sure.
So when I first started, just 100% sole proprietor how it is. Took in a couple personal loans to try to make sure that different dry seasons, I call it, because clients come and go.
Sure.
You can't always just you assume that, hey, they're going to stick with their contracts, they're going to stick with us. But there'll be times where, okay, crap, we lost 3 clients. Why? Figure out, reverse engineer. Oh, it's a dry spell. We're covered, but I'd rather have that fluff just in case.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to have some type of co-ownership or someone that is part of Ghost, but they have to really understand, sit beside me for probably 4 to 6 months to understand what they're diving into.
Sure.
Because people see the financial but doesn't see the work that it revolves around.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to build a company. It takes an enormous amount to build it by yourself. Honestly, I can't imagine that. I've always had co-founders. Because I feel like I'm good at about like this much, and I need a lot of support on the other things. But I mean, personal loans and credit cards.
Yep. I mean, it was more personal loans than credit cards. I finally got into a little bit of credit card, which is good because I'm like, okay, pay this, do this, move that. Build my credit score, get more advances on capital if I want them.
Sure.
But it's playing that game of Russian roulette, I feel like half the time. Which credit card today? Just kidding. No.
Well, I think until you've been there to where you're staring a payroll in the face, or like in 2 weeks you got payroll and you're trying to collect some receivables and you're staring at these payables and somebody's calling about getting paid this bill, until you have gone through that stress, you don't know entrepreneurship in the startup world.
I agree.
100%.
It's not it's not fun, but like everybody goes through that at some point of the journey. There's just no way around it.
There was a slogan we came up with one of our clients, and they're not one of our clients anymore, but we came up with a slogan, it's not payroll, it's people. Because you're funding people's lives. So you're so connected. Like, great example, if I stress every 2 weeks about payroll, which there's some months out of the year, like, it's 3 pay cycles, not 2. Immediately. It's like, why? Why can't it just be 2 or if it's just 3? But it's how that lines up.
Yep.
But you sit there and look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm funding people's lives and go spend time with their kids. They can go out and go do hobbies on the weekend. It's not, for me, I'm thinking, where do I tie that monetary value to it? But it's more like, I'm building a relationship where they want to stay. They want to be part of it. Like my chief technology officer, Dan, he's like, I'll retire here. I said, that's the type of people that they understand the vision. Man. They're here for the long run, not just the short-term gains.
Well, that's the part that's the most rewarding part too, is I remember just looking out at the team or walking through the hallways and knowing fundamentally like what we are doing is going to help put that kid, that child through college. That is a big freaking deal. They're going to buy their first house, they're going to buy their first car, whatever it might be. That was always one of the most rewarding parts of building the business.
When you realize you got 50 families to feed.
No doubt.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's just not my 2 kids and wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 families.
It's a lot.
They rely on you. They depend on you.
Right.
You can't how I say, you can't put them just a monetary value because they do bring more than that to the table.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, collectively, that's the unit, that's the company, that's like you said. I mean, it's everything that you're carrying forward to the clients, and that's why the clients are buying the services.
Exactly. Couldn't do it by myself.
So think a little bit about what you see day to day. You work with a lot of small businesses and medium-sized businesses.
Yep.
From a marketing standpoint, what do you see as the most common mistake? And then what do you think is the best opportunity?
Yep. Honestly, this is going to be hilarious. I say this is people think social media is marketing. It is not. 110% not.
Yeah. Talk about that.
When people say, hey, I want you to manage my social, that's great. We'll post, we'll optimize, we'll help with messages. But if you're just posting on the page, you're hitting the same people in your same sandbox. I'm not bringing new people to it. I'm just managing your brand as it is. And so they think, if you post on social, I'm going to start getting this gain of traction, gain of butts and seats, people on my website. The people that are on your page either already support you, they're friends and family, they're going to like it, but they might not be already your purchasers, or they might be not your buyers. They might just be the people that support you. And so a lot of companies say, we want you to do your social. I'm like, we sort of want to get away from that. Not in a bad way, because they don't understand the value of it. Of like, we're just basically one of your employees handling your brand, but we're not advertising it. We're just keeping it consistent on people's faces. Sure. So we always say it's the Gary Vaynerchuk idea, the jab, 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 right hook, his book, is like social media is that jabbing. You're getting their distance target, but there's no ads going with it. I mean, unless you put some type of behind it, or some type of content, or some type of trendy stuff, you're just managing a brand. And so clients, and they say, I'm paying you to manage my brand. Where's my ROI? We're like, well, we're getting your face out there consistently, but it's not advertising. It's just managing. So that's the biggest caveat we have. We try to educate our clients. Like, our contracts have a lot of disclaimers for that reason specifically. Because even like building a brand. If we build a brand and you like it, and the 11th hour, I don't like it. I'm like, well, you liked it all at this point. Now you want to pull the plug, and we already spent all this time, energy, and effort. I want my money back. We already spent 45 hours on this brand. Sure. Yeah. Hate to say it. We either pay for more or you're going to take this and we're going to back up. So it's like understanding those aspects that clients just don't get. They think, I pay you money, do the job, that's it.
Got it.
So I think that's the hardest thing that we have to understand clients is there's a managing side of a brand, that's branding, and then there's the advertising that's ROI based. So we sort of try to show them those two side things that we need them to understand before they just say, hey, I'm spending this money every month. Are you managing or advertising, and what's the effect?
Yeah.
So
how often do you see, as you come in the door, that you really need to do a rebrand?
For clients?
Yeah.
I would say 40 to 50% of the time.
Yeah.
We're going through that right now with a company down in Georgia, and they have a good brand, nothing wrong with it, but it's just out of touch with the customer that they're trying to basically advertise to. It's a psychology side. Like, heck, that's why Ghost did a rebrand from Viking to Ghost, because it just clients couldn't understand what Viking was. It didn't resonate. Yeah. We're Ghost. We're behind the scenes. We post like Ghost with a secret mark. We're backseat guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Versus like Viking logo, what does it mean? So we deal with that basically probably 40, 50% of the time. And now we can't tell them flat out, your brand sucks. But we say, hey, how can we tweak it, change it, have secondaries or tertiary branding strategies to help people see it in a different light?
Yeah.
So it sometimes depends on the avatars, the buying personas, who they're trying to target, because it really goes down to where's their target audience consuming information. My parents, probably through radio, TV, direct mail, they'll believe it if they see it. Yeah. But social, there's so much that they're like, I don't know. This seems fake. That's why they get scammed all the time. So
Right.
Versus just the different generations for the business owner versus actually a B2B versus B2C. How they consume stuff, how they see it is completely different. And sometimes clients don't understand that.
Yep.
I was thinking the other day that like direct mail could probably make a comeback at this point. I mean, remember, back in the day we would get just flooded with
Nobody gets direct mail anymore.
But now it's like
nobody even has other people's addresses.
I know.
Yep. You have to buy an MSL list.
But it's like I would actually probably look at direct mail now and go,
Yeah,
look, I actually got to there's something other than a bill.
Right.
Like most of my bills are electronic now, but still every once in a while, like Duke Power will send me something. I'm like, what's this?
Yeah.
But somebody sends this in direct mail. I'll be like, what is that?
Yeah.
Direct mail? What is your offer today?
Well, you sit there and think like back radio, you only had to hear it 2 or 3 times before it resonated. Now it has to be like 14, 15 times.
yeah.
I think at Jake Gilstrap Family Dealership. Like, how many times do you hear him on the radio? But have you bought a car from him? Did you buy your Tesla from him? I don't think so. So I'm just saying, like, is it that branding and I'm trying to keep you top of mind to eventually buy some, or is it actually impactful? Because nowadays we're visual learners. Yeah. I got to touch, feel, see, experience it versus just hear it and believe it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And now, even if you hear it, even if you see it, likely you're going to go to a browser and you're going to do your own touch. At some point, you're going to end up on that website.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. With AI and everything else now, it's like I'm still going to go to Google. I'm going to go to that website. I'm going to check it out. I'm still going to compare probably. Yeah.
Have y'all seen the Gemini that's hitting Google? That's giving you AI recommendation at the very top. It actually takes away that sort of that PPC, that SEM feel, because it says these are the recommendations. This is what we think from what you've typed on a conversation piece.
Sure. Yep.
This is what we recommend.
That's just another thing changing SEO, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah, I was just saw an interview this morning with the founder of Perplexity, and they're trying to get out there and replace the search engine with Google, and Gemini is going to be right in front of that, and ChatGPT's pushing their way into it.
It's crazy.
So as you move into that space, how do you prepare a client for the agentic phase?
Yeah. Well, on our side, it's really just what we do brainstorming sessions with them. We sort of sit down and sort of get all their sort of information out. Then we go to Allison, our executive copywriter that's actually in-house, that sits down, listens to them, basically taking a horse to water and says, okay, how are people going to do it's the EAT mentality on SEO, SEM. It's, what is it? It's earned, trusted, professional, and some type of acronym they have on Google that she looks at all the time about the trustworthiness of sort of Google compliance, SEO compliance, website compliance. Right. And then I know one of our other clients is looking to actually add ChatGPT or AI to a chat bot on their website. So then as you're typing in, people can actually be filtered out real easily, and then Google eats that up, and then it gets ranked higher. So a lot of that sort of changes because we think about back in the day, it used to be just keywords, AdWords. What can I buy and how can I get ranked up?
Absolutely, right.
Now I think people aren't really putting keywords in there. They are based off keywords, but it's conversational side. Like, best burger restaurant near me, okay? Or if it's, best restaurants in Malden. Like you're doing very geolocation things that bring us more of, I'm trying to ask Google in a conversation, what can they give me in a conversation back? And that's what Allison's really diving into is like, how do I frame the copy, the wordage, the blogs, articles to that conversation piece and bring SEO value to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do a lot of like geotags. And so like we'll talk about, say Swamp Route Move, for instance, one of the moving companies we deal with. We'll talk about best movers in Greer, Taylor's, TR. We'll have this whole database about what is Travelers Rest, what makes it important, what's near Travelers Rest High School, what is these roads that we're on. So then, because people, I either do it by landmark or road. So that's think about how people I do landmarks. Okay. The charter building off the highway. I'm not saying 85 through 85 besides whatever exit that is. I'm talking about Charter Spectrum right there beside Bridgeway Station and where the new Stadium's going. Okay, great. That's a geo that we need to make sure we add because how people are going to find and search things.
So do you think over time with a chat bot giving you an answer back on the a full diatribe about a certain topic that really doesn't, it's almost below the fold before you get to the top, what we would call the SEO organic hits. Is that going to diminish the value of AdWords and the rankings that we've all been striving for years? Or do you find some way to kind of hand in glove fit inside the chatbot's answer?
Yeah, I think majority of the chatbot aspect's more designed for lead gen and data capture from clients that come to your website. Because how many people go to your website then bounce out?
Yeah.
That's why half the time you go to a moving website and the first thing it is, lead form at the very top. Fill your information out, how many beds, where you're at, where you're going, because they want to try to gather that data. Because half the time
trying to get that conversion. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the chatbots can bring that that authentic feel, even though you know it's sort of fake, if that makes sense, to get that prompt answers from them in more of a conversational aspect to say, okay, here's the new lead. They answered us honestly. They felt like it was our tone. Now we can call them and we already feel like we've already talked to someone, if that makes sense. Versus like, hey, I'm Amy. Like, that's not a real person.
Right.
I'd rather take the headshots of the real people like Chris, or let's say it's, Jennifer or Mark, and actually have their faces up there and it looks like they're actually talking to the VP of operations. This and like, okay, I feel like it's a real person. And finally, Mark calls them, hey guys, just saw you on the website. We talked a little bit. When are y'all looking to move? And then, there's already that connectivity. It's like that cold call versus a warm lead.
So you guys find yourself in a lot of agentic type conversations. Exactly. I mean, everybody, I would think at this point needs a chatbot or wants a chatbot. They're trying to figure out like, I don't even know maybe why I need it. I just know that I need some bot on my website to do some type of customer interaction.
It depends on the service you're in. If it is e-com or lead gen, if it's a restaurant, no one cares. They're going to say, what's your menu? Go to Yelp for your reviews, Google for your reviews. You suck, you're good, I'm going to go. Either way. So it really depends on the service you're in to utilize those type of tools. It depends on the situation too. And money and time and energy, because you have to have all the answers, that spider web that goes deep into the FAQs and even goes 18 levels deeper than that.
So it's got to. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So
where are you going to carry Ghost? Where is Ghost going? What's the vision here for the next year or two?
At first, we thought about franchising.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a pipe dream because I don't think hardest thing is you think about you franchise out or give sort of like the Chick-fil-A model. I'd rather license and then find locations, give them the tools if they don't qualify or they don't go through obviously the right sort of status quo and process and procedures. I yank their license away and give it to someone else, and the building and the aspect is mine. But after I look at it, marketing is such a non-linear, scalable. Right. It is scalable if you have someone that's in the pilot seat really driving it. Sure. So that's why we focus on just growing from like Greenville, obviously all of South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, heck, 13, we go all the way to Salt Lake City, Utah. So it's like, instead of like setting up a satellite location there, pouring a lot of money into there where there might not be as many clients that understand it yet. Got it. I think it's just staying home base and growing and really digging our teeth into our own backyard, which I mean, the Southeast, just constantly grow and grow and grow. We have a whole map in my office that's just all little pins of all of our clients. And it's all Southeast. That's all it is.
I love that. I love the idea of the visual, the map, and where all we're going. Yeah. Well, man, this has been great. I mean, I'm so fired up you came out of here. How do people get in touch with Ghost? How do people get in touch with you?
So it's literally just ghostbrands.com. Half the time you're going to hit one of my staff, probably not me. It's called delegation. But you can, there's obviously easy book consultation on there. You can hit us up on obviously Instagram or Facebook at Ghost Brands. Awesome. Took a lot of time to get that handle. It took a lot of money too. But we're all over. And honestly, if you think about any client, if it's like Spinks, Hubsy, Spartan Burgers, Athletes Rock, you hit one of them up, half the time our staff's on the back end answering questions. No, so without us, hence the Ghost. So you can hit us up on social or on our website or hit us up on an email.
I love it. So ghostbrands.com. You can get Britton and the team. They'll definitely do a good job for you. We've worked with you on some of our investments, and it's been a great relationship and a great journey. We appreciate everything you've been doing in the community. You've been supportive of Founderville and what we're doing here. And definitely
congrats on the success.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Not an easy thing to do. To get
blood, sweat, tears, a lot of gray hairs. Like I said, they're going to continue to grow.
I don't see any gray hair, dude.
I'll take them out. They poke out. No.
I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much. We appreciate you tuning in. And again, Britton Briley with Ghost Brands.